You okay?
How much more of this?
About a mile, as the crow flies.
There is one thing that I hate about hiking, and yet I've been doing it for almost 20 years. And it's not because I want to, it's because I've had no other choice. I've been forced through inadequate technology.
But that is finally changing, and man, am I so ready. Let me show you what I mean.
If you want to hike this time of year, you really only have two choices. Either hike in the snow or out in the desert. But I'm a little bit tired of both, so I went looking for a hike that would get me out west without having to deal with snow. And that only means one thing: the beach. But the problem with this particular hike is that it's somewhat technical, with a lot of obstacles and logistics that you got to work out. Like, you can't just hike along the beach because in some places cliffs protrude hundreds of feet up out of the water, forcing you to go inland. But finding where the trail goes inland, even if you've been here before, can be a little bit difficult. Okay, so I know that we got to go inland somewhere because we got this cliff that's coming up right here. And I keep thinking that we already passed the ropes to go up to get off the beach, but Natural Atlas says we still got a little bit to go here, and so we're just going to keep walking until we find it. There it is. I see the ropes. Odds are, if you hike much at all, you have probably used a GPS. GPS was a game changer on its own. The ability to know exactly where you are or how far you are from a given destination without complicated calculations, well, I mean, you probably already know. But as useful as GPS is, all the ones that I've used have had one frustrating limitation.
Hey, how much further?
I don't know, maybe 3 miles as the crow flies. Maybe a mile as the crow flies. About a mile as the crow flies. Which is why when I found out Natural Atlas measures distance using actual trail miles, well, I found the app that I didn't even know I needed. What'd you just ask, Marty?
I asked how far we are from the beach because we need lunch.
Maybe a mile as the crow flies. Okay, so Marty wants to know how far we have till we get back to the beach. So I'm gonna use Natural Atlas. You can see that's us right there. I'm gonna hit the measure tool and drop a point right where we are. I'm gonna come over here to the beach. Looks like that's about where we're gonna rejoin the beach. It's about 3/4 of a mile to the beach, so we'll be able to knock that out pretty quick.
It's like Google or Apple Maps. Those apps don't tell you how to get to your destination as the crow flies. It uses actual roads just like you have to. And that's what Natural Atlas does. It automatically gives you the shortest route to your destination using actual trails, not just a straight line cut across the map.
For instance, because we are hiking along the coast, there are a couple of tidal restrictions, places you can only get past at low tide. When I download maps for offline use, I go find the area that I want to download, like this area right here. I want to have all this saved to my phone so I can access it even without cell phone service. But if I also click on this little edit button here, I have the option to include local information like plants and geology, points of interest, different maps like public lands or satellite, or most importantly for this hike, tidal predictions. Okay, so I know for a point coming up here pretty soon, we're gonna need a tide of less than 2 feet, which is a pretty low tide. So if you come look on the map right here, I happen to know that that tidal restriction is right here near Diamond Rock. So if I click near that location, swipe up from the bottom, I've got all the local tide information here. And so low tide today is at 3:16. Now this is saved onto my phone, so I can access this even when I don't have cell phone service. So 3:16 p.m. is a low tide. I can also go back on here, click the measure tool, click on where we are from the map, and then zoom back in here to Diamond Rock where the tidal restriction is, click again, and it tells me that we are 3 miles away. And so we have plenty of time to make it to that tidal restriction before the tide comes in. Now, GPS apps like this one are handy, but they do rely on battery, so I would never recommend just carrying a GPS. You need a paper map too in case of emergencies. And I really like paper maps. There's just something about poring over a map and checking out all the little details and locations, and it's one of the other things I really like about Natural Atlas. It has the look and feel of a paper map. Not only can you measure out specific distances, but as you are just browsing the map, it has the miles clearly clearly marked on the map, just like many of the paper maps that I've used. And it doesn't just have the feel of a paper map, you can actually print custom paper maps from the app. And this is incredibly useful because even though I love paper maps, the ones that you buy at the store are huge, often trying to fit a whole area onto a gigantic piece of paper. And even then, the detail is not that great due to the scale of the map. But with Natural Atlas, you can customize how large or small of an area you want to put on the map. Then you can select the paper size you want to print it on, zoom in and out, and then export the map to print. I even bought this small laminator so I could waterproof my prints that came off the inkjet printer. Now, even if all my batteries die, I still have a map. I don't know if you can see that point out there, but we think that might be the title restriction. And if so, it is looking really sketch. And so we're gonna wait till we get down to the beach. We're gonna check Natural Atlas one more time just to make sure. Now the kicker is these features aren't free. To get the trail measurements, the ability to download offline maps, tide predictions, as well as a host of other features will set you back $40 for a whole year of service. But I managed to convince them to give you 25% discount, which brings it down to just $30 a year. $30 is low cost of entry for a great GPS app like this. So look in the description below to find out the most up-to-date discount code and know exactly how far you have to hike on every hike that you go on. So I think we're finally past the last of the title restrictions, and that means from here on out, it's just a walk on the beach. Thank you Natural Atlas for sponsoring this video. Like, subscribe, and do all those other things. And as always, thanks for watching.